Oh boy, it's really getting obvious, isn't it? Yay for all the people getting my money. As I think there was one particular country that was missing from that illustration, but who knows? Maybe I'm just going crazy here. As of course, during this Christmas, there's a lot of people who are acting a little bit Grinch-like. As I would argue that this type of right-wing Republican civil war is really a COINTELPRO type of operation, as Mark Levin is on one. He is not happy today. He is calling people out, saying really naughty names, specifically at individuals that are saying the sky is blue. Like, hey, look, your actions aren't nice. You shouldn't be doing this. It's actually causing the problem that you are hyperventilating about. You are creating your own problem in your own life. And the people are like, and then he responds, how dare you? You just hate everyone. That's like me. And I'm like, no. As Mark Levin and the neoconservative right keep going after individuals like Jack Posobiec after they couldn't successfully cancel Tucker Carlson, they're looking for another scalp. Will they be successful? As, of course, their messaging this Christmas is bomb Iran and cancel people for taking a photo with somebody. Ha ha ha. How dare you not notice someone's shirt? You took a photo with them? They asked you for the photo and you took it? How dare you? Let's spend all of Christmas arguing about it. As of course, that's exactly what's happening right now. If you appreciate these types of conversations, subscribe. Click the notification button. We greatly appreciate all of your time on this brand new spanking channel that is doing really good. My main channel, like with nearly 900,000 subscribers, not that good. This one, we got like 4,000 people, and we are cooking, baby. So thank you so much for everyone who has joined in this new channel and is participating in this discussion as we're seeing Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones here, an AI version of them. And of course, the Lord of the Rings. The Ring, I would say, is definitely attention and influence that a lot of people like Gollum get really addicted to and obsessed with and want to control it and wield it all for themselves. And if you do not dare recognize them being superior and smarter and holding the truth, and you don't follow their exact orders, and you don't bow down when they tell you to bow down, you don't disavow, you don't cancel, you don't deplatform, you are the bad one. And that's the message. And that's the message that young people just don't resonate with. It used to work when they used to have control of the narrative and they used to have Fox News and CNN just running the same old talking points over and over and over again. And then it would just kind of gel because there was no one able to kind of speak out against them. And then the internet happened, and then bada bing, bada boom. People are able to actually fact check things. They're able to actually listen to other people that they were never able to kind of listen to. And this has created this kind of chasm, this kind of rift in the official narrative, in the official neoconservative Bush era days. As I would argue, this administration, its neocon elements, and a lot of these type of stringent people that are establishment goon types, they fail to understand that now the counterpoints are far more convincing because they have more truths in them than their narratives that are losing influence, power, and control. Now, yesterday, there was a person talking about how a lot of the behaviors of Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro, and Ted Cruz are actually creating the problems that they keep hyperventilating about. And this is kind of true. It's kind of a philosophical kind of idea in life, too. The more you try to control something, the more you try to push something away, the more it actually rears itself to you, right? The more it's like you're in a relationship. The more you try to control that person in a relationship, the more that person just wants to have their own space. And I would say the right wants their own space. We don't want to be told what to do. We don't want to be lectured. We don't want to be finger pointed. We don't want to be shamed for holding up a rosary, right? We don't want to be attacked because of your ideas losing in the battle and arena that is the online internet space. Now, Rich Barris made a good point, and we went into that point yesterday in yesterday's video. If you haven't watched that one yet, go watch it to understand the context of it. But it's essentially an argument that Megyn Kelly also made that we agreed with as well, saying that Ben Shapiro and Barry Weiss, as well as Mark Levin, I would argue, and Ted Cruz, are actually creating people who hate the Jays, right? Because they're overly aggressive with their Zionism. Let's just be real. And when you're over aggressive with something and you try to shove something and push something into everyone's minds and heads, automatically people reject it. Now, Mark Levin now is responding to this type of criticism, which I think is legitimate, right? Now, granted, there are some people who just hate all the Jays. I would argue they're being created because of the deplatforming and the kind of finger pointing and this kind of cancel culture that was previously embodied by the left, but is now embodied by these few right-wing people. Now, I don't agree with hating a whole group of people. I think that's wrong. Tucker Carlson has spoken against that, but then he's being given an award by a crony organization talking about how he hates Jays out of everyone. That's not true. It's lies. It's disingenuous. When we're being told, no, you need to give up all of your money so we bomb Iran, or you hate all Jays, and I'm like, no, there's Jewish people who literally are protesting Bibi Netanyahu. Those people deserve a voice. Their voice matters. But if you issue those same things that Jewish people in Jerusalem literally issue, as there's major protests against the corruption, against a lot of bad things that Bibi Netanyahu has done, if you're an American and you do it, and you say the same things that Israelis say in Israel, we got to deplatform cancel you because you hate all of them. No, you don't. Jewish people don't hate Jewish people, right? Oh, there's some self-hating Jewish people, whatever. You know what I mean. You know the argument that I'm trying to make here. As he says, you're a backbencher lowlife. That's not nice. You were born with your J hatred. No, he wasn't. He's really giving you advice. He's trying to help you, right? And if those people would just humble themselves and stop trying to be on this kind of podium of like, I know exactly what's right. And if they would get the message, people don't understand. People like me, other people are actually giving them sound words of advice that if they listened to, that if they conceptualized and understood, they'd be like, oh, maybe I should stop shooting myself in the foot. Yeah, why don't you? It would do all of us a favor because you're kicking and screaming and you're being a little annoying. Now, before playing the rest of this response and playing clips from Tucker Carlson that addressed the canceling efforts and the canceling efforts of Jack Posobiec, just really quickly, we wanted to tell you about WeAreChange.shop. One of the greatest supplements we got on there is magnesium glycinate. I really like this stuff a lot. We have Mary Posa Rotatul, random person on Twitter, says, finally bought magnesium glycinate, and I wish I tried it sooner. I mean, I'll always be mentally ill. Honest woman there. But it helped a noticeable amount with my anxiety. Love it. Yeah. Magnesium, very big for the nervous system. It tells your body to relax, takes you away from fight or flight mode, which a lot of people are in. It actually allows you to rest. It actually helps you sleep. It helps me sleep. Dan Go came out and said, 4 supplements I'm getting my aging parents to take. 1, creatine, available on WeAreChange.shop. 2, omega-3s, available on WeAreChange.shop. Vitamin D3 plus K2, available on WeAreChange.shop with extra virgin olive oil, so you get that healthy fat. 4, magnesium glycinate. And he goes into, here's why. He says, magnesium glycinate includes helping you get better sleep quality, muscle recovery, and heart rhythm. The glycinate form is gentle on the stomach and calming for the nervous system, making it perfect for the aging parents who want deep restorative sleep. Absolutely. I'm going to give my mom some of this. I'm like hyper analyzing my family. I'm like, okay, what do you eat? What kind of poisons are you taking? I'm like sniveling around like, what is that? I am in the kitchen. Listen, politically, I'm more like libertarian. In the kitchen, fascist. I'm not afraid of that. Right? Only in the kitchen. Only gets those seed oils. Anyway. Otherwise, libertarian, anarchist. Yeah, I like freedom. Kitchen, fascism. Ah! Gary Brecka recently talked about how he says 85% of the people are clinically low in vitamin D. And he says that this is one of the most important supplements. He says he recommends taking 5,000 IEUs daily. And that's exactly what we have available on wearechange.shop. We also have the Sunforce bundle where you get the magnesium glycinate and you get the vitamin D. But vitamin D also activated through magnesium as well. So as a lot of people who have low vitamin D, they have huge risks with very serious things that compromise their immune systems that are not fun to deal with. So check out. I'm going to retweet this video. Check it out at Luke We Are Change if you want to see it on my timeline. Anyway, let's go back to Mark Levin. That clearly isn't getting enough sun. Clearly needs some vitamin D and needs to calm down his nervous system with some extra magnesium glycinate. I am officially now saying, Mark, I will give you my magnesium glycinate. Why? Because I want you to do better. I think a lot of this infighting is regressive. I think it's stupid. I will give you some magnesium glycinate because you clearly need some. He goes on and then said, you didn't learn it, except maybe from your parents. What's your ethnicity and religion? Question mark. Yeah, what do you believe in? Should we smear them just because you're a POS? Lunatic. Rick embarrassment. Unknown pollster. He's literally going to he's literally stating polls. Be like, yeah, guys, you guys are creating this problem yourself, and then crying about it, and then trying to grab power after it, and it's a little ridiculous here. And it continues on with the attacks against Jack Posobiec, as he goes, here's the lowlife Jack Posobiec pals around with. And again, it's some guy came to Jack, it's hey, can I take a photo? Jack was like, okay. They took a photo. And this is what he's obsessing about, which is ridiculous, right? Because as someone who's a celebritard influencer, that's how I like to call myself, a lot of people come up to me, and they have been within the last few days at that big conference, and be like, hey, take a photo of me. Yeah, sure, whatever. You're just going to be, you're not going to be nice. You're like, no photos. Mark Levin's gonna, if you said something naughty on the internet, Mark Levin's going to hold me accountable for it now. No, I don't care. I took a photo with everybody who asked. And that's what people do. They're like, hey, can we do it? Yeah, whatever. As he goes on, this is why Hack Jack is widely condemned. Not because of his faith, that his repulsive, deflective propaganda. Hack Jack has a long, and this is what he's calling Jack Posobiec, Hack Jack, has a long record of woke Reichism. No, he doesn't. He still hasn't condemned his comrade. He took a photo with somebody. You want him to condemn someone that asked him for a photo? Really? He's proud of being photographed at him. Now you know his intentions? How? How do you know his intentions? How do you know how he feels? You don't. You're making it up. Of note, Megyn Kelly jumped in and came to their defense. Yeah, because you're acting like a little weenie. You're acting like a little pathetic weenie. Grow up. Someone took a photo with somebody. Doesn't mean they officially endorse all of their views. All right? You're an idiot. But then again, he's no better than her buddy Candace Owens. And now Hack Jack. They are sinister grifters, folks. I imagine that's how he tweets. A little biased take, but that's how I think here. Kevin Posobiec responded, nah, we're done with this anti-Christ rhetoric. Very hateful. It's okay. We live in America. Tell us what you really want to do to Catholics you hate, Mark Levin. Someone made this call. Listen, there's a little bit of a resemblance. As a lot of other people are saying, it's Christmas, Mark. Why have so much hate and bitterness? Seriously. Let's let it go. Mark Levin, he knows he's a graper. The person who took a photo with is black. I was stunned to learn he works for TPUSA. You're trying to cancel him? You're trying to cancel him for TPUSA. I hate that. Why are you trying to get people fired? This is what the left did. You're copy pasting homework, and it didn't work on the left. Why? Because we're living in a new day and age of communication and understanding, right? It's a totally different day and age, and the more you try to fight it, the more you bring it into your own life. And again, look, he had a sweater. Jack didn't carefully examine his clothes before taking a photo with him. And again, he goes on. This is Jack Posobiec. Who? Friend? With whom? He took a photo at TPUSA with Fundy. Was wearing a shirt. Promoting stuff we can't say on YouTube. Another sicko came to Posobiec's defense online in an outrageous post, followed by scores of others. I called Posobiec a crackpot. He called Posobiec a crackpot because he showed the rosary. And again, you're Jewish. He's Catholic. Clearly, there's a lot of bad history there.
Sobek desperately wants people to believe he was called a crackpot, and because he was holding a rosary to raise the faith, and he insists crack spots were used to attack Catholics. He has posted this multiple times, as has his cabal. Of course, I've never attacked Catholics in my life, and never would, but Sobek and his right woke rank friends have perfected the use of the internet.
No, they just communicate clearly and honestly and don't try to shame people for taking photos with random people that ask them for photos.
They promote this big lie after another. Not because they're Catholics, of course. Not because he held a rosary.
Well, you should have been clear then, because you made it very clear that, oh yeah, here's Jack Posobiec holding a rosary. You didn't leave any context. You just called him a crackpot.
Of course, but because they are grifters and militants, employing Marxist and mobster techniques.
Now you're calling people on the internet mobsters and Marxists. You're acting like the Marxists. You're acting like the leftists. You're acting like the liberal. Talk about self-reflection there and not taking personal responsibility.
They use the internet to intimidate, threaten, and smear, and use the internet to create and stir mobs that are utterly dishonest and self-promoting scoundrels. Posobiec and his ilk, or his individual sick.
I'm just sick of reading this. My throat's getting sick. And again, he posted Myron. Myron says controversial things that I don't always agree with. But am I here to be the speech police for anyone? No. Tucker Carlson talked about how the speech police came after him and they failed. And I think this is why, when they failed going after Tucker Carlson, which they tried very desperately to try to cancel and destroy and tried to economically, financially ruin, and they blame him and they make all these lies against him, this is why they're like, yeah, okay, we failed it. Tucker, he's too big. Let's go down. Posobiec. After Posobiec, it's us. Yeah. And there already are efforts, like behind the scenes. People get phone calls that I'm friends with. Like,
this Rotowski ball guy, he doesn't play ball.
Hell no, I don't. I live by my own set of rules. I'm my own man, my own person, with my own ideas that I'm sorry you can't buy. You could buy me for $8 a month on lukeunfiltered.com. That's what I work for. I work for you. Or buy my supplements. I got some good supplements. There's some really good stuff there. Anyway, here's Tucker describing this kind of ethos that is not very self-reflective, not very honest, very underhanded, and works behind the scenes to try to undermine and destroy this big umbrella movement that Charlie Kirk has built.
Because the last several months of Charlie's life were devoted in part to arguing about this event, in fact, this speech, in fact, my speech here, which he asked me to do earlier this year, this summer, and was immediately put under just immense pressure from people who give money to Turning Point, I would assume good people, but who wanted him to take me off the roster. And this has all become public, and the whole thing is so sad that I never talk about it, except to say Charlie stood firm in his often stated and deeply held belief that people should be able to debate, and that if you have something valid to say, if you're telling the truth, you ought to be able to explain it calmly and in detail to people who don't agree with you, and that you shouldn't immediately resort to shut up racist. You shouldn't.
Yeah. That's a novel idea, isn't it? And again, the hatred just continues here. As Jacques Posobiec responded to this, saying, I will not apologize. As, of course, this is the latest mega clash. It is a little reductive, it's stupid, it's idiotic, and it wouldn't have been here if these people wouldn't go crazy for people taking photos with random people. Not random people, but with photos with individuals. As other people are saying, no, he called you a crackpot because you were next to a dude with a hoodie, with a shirt that you didn't read and weren't too careful, and you said yes to a photo. Huh? And again, Mark Levin should have made that clear. He didn't. And the communication is very poor, and it's very self-righteous, and it's something that just people are automatically allergic to. They're like, more people are attacking Jack, coming out and talking about your Polish Catholic heritage while standing next to someone who wore a shirt talking about what happened in Poland. Whoa! How dare you? Now, I'm a Polish person, born and raised in Poland. My family dealt with that situation. My family lost a significant portion of our family in this situation that they're talking about here. And I officially want to give the pass to Jack, to Myron, too. Say whatever you want about that day. I don't care. Because the left is saying you can't talk about people who chop off their... Yeah, you can. You can talk about this. You can have whatever viewpoints you want. My family lost their lives in this. Guaranteed. I officially extend the pass. Talk about this as you want, as you please. And I'm not going to lecture you. I have skin in the game here, buddy. If we're playing by the leftist, woke, neoconservative right rules now, because I'm affected by this, I get to decide. So I'm deciding, Jack, Myron, say whatever you want. I'm writing it out. Just like black people give the N pass, I'm giving the H pass. Everybody, here you go. Blank check. Boom. Do it as you please. That's how you deal with this issue. You don't try to lecture and try to control speech. The best way to deal with bad speech is good speech, and we get a lot of bad speech, and we're being told we need to bomb Iran, and we shouldn't bomb Iran. Anyway, Bibi literally is fear-mongering the United States on Christmas. We gotta bomb Iran. No, we don't. No, we don't. You gotta take your supplements. You're clearly not getting enough magnesium. Go to wearechange.shop. Thank you so much for supporting us there. Thank you so much for being there with us here, a part of this independent media organization. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on this brand new YouTube channel, Luke Rudowski 76. Check it out. Support it. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more.